Welcome to Sunday, guys. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It is Sunday morning. Good reason to get up, good reason to be thankful, good reason to enjoy what is in store for you guys. I am personally saying a big prayer that you are going to feel all the blessings today. I don't know about you guys, but this last week it has been poured on. The weather, look, that's just the start. How gorgeous has the weather been? The sun, the shot, just the warmth of the sun, the brightness obviously, but just the warmthness and just that reminder that we're about to kind of move into some nice days. Considering that about a week and a half ago, we were looking at floods and stuff all around, well, particularly where we live. You might probably the same. It's bizarre how quickly things can change when it comes to the weather, and how we can take on a sort of different perspective based on the things happening around us. Environment does play a role in how we do life a lot of the time, really. It's one of those things that we probably don't think about until we have to. But whether it's physical environment or the things that happen around us, they do impact how we perceive ourselves, our situation, how we get through each day. It does make a difference. And that is one of the things I think has been highlighted over the last few weeks as we've been exploring creatives. Now, I've been speaking to a few different people over the last few weeks. The last Sundays, we have spoken to a few. And it is interesting how there is this awareness of the environment in which creatives can flourish. It can also be a very isolating experience for those who are creative. It can be something that not a lot of people understand. So the environment for those who are a creative sort of space or mind, it can be tricky for them because the environment can impact the productivity or what they come up with. I know for myself, I don't know about even you guys, but like if I'm in a space where I'm trying to put some writing down and I've got people talking at me halfway through, it's like, hey, hang on a sec, I just can't get the right, I can't get the flow that I need in this. Now I'm not exactly what you'd call, the ultimate creative, but I just mean, for us to understand what life is like for those who are creative in just an everyday sense, just having that awareness of the environment that they are exposed to. So what we provide for those who are likely to be creative. Now, I don't think the church is supposed to put certain people on a pedestal, but I do believe that we are supposed to have an awareness of others and the skills and the gifts that they can bring. And that then, for us, means that we have to get behind them and support them in whatever way we can. I want to share a Bible verse with you that really kind of spoke to me this week when I was sort of exploring where I wanted to go from here. It's it's pretty much straight to the point, but it's quite encouraging in that every one of us has something we can offer. 1 Peter 4:10-11, each of you should use whatever gift you have received to serve others, as faithful stewards of God's grace in its various forms. If anyone speaks, they should do so as one who speaks the very words of God. If anyone serves, they should do so with the strength God provides, so that in all things God may be praised through Jesus Christ. To him be the glory and the power forever and ever. Amen. But those first few words there, guys, each of you should use whatever gift you have received to serve others, as faithful stewards of God's grace in its various forms. Give what you can, support each other, and be aware of the environment that each of us are in that help to really broaden and uphold those gifts, that are amongst you. I think that's kind of where we're going today. Let's see where we end up. And that was more by Brandon Lake. Good morning and welcome to Rhema CC. Hope you're having a great day, guys. I do mean that. I'm Lindy. I'm your Sunday morning host here. It is a delight to see my Sunday in with you yet again. Can you believe we have passed 2 years? I've been doing this for over 2 years now. Yeah, considering the first few weeks I was thinking, I don't know if I have enough to talk about. You guys have put up with a lot. So thank you. Anyway, we are talking creatives still, but tying things up to be able to kind of put in context why I have explored this as sort of a topic over several weeks. I've loved being able to spend some time with the guests we've had over here, in here the last few weeks. It's been really, really encouraging just to see the gifting here on the coast. There are some amazing, amazing people out there. I'm sure every one of you are actually, but I just mean specifically when it comes to creatives. Just in our region, we've got a lot of very capable, very bright, very in tune people, and their way of expressing what the world that they understand has been phenomenal to just sort of sit back and just explore. It's been really, really lovely to do that. Now, you guys know your church. You know who is in your sort of walk, who's in your family. You know the gifts that you have amongst you, and it is our job to encourage that, to really build each other up. How do we do that? Well, one of the things we've heard over the last few weeks is just, specifically go to those and encourage each other, build each other up through words. Just, give them space to be able to explore their gifts. Because you know what? I think sometimes we can shut things down before we even give it really a chance to just, be able to be explored. My goodness, what God can come up with when we open that door instead of saying no. In fact, you know what? While I'm just going to do a little, like, it's kind of like I don't know. It's an auditory thing, but I'm just going to kind of give you guys a bit of a challenge as you are sitting there. I want you to listen to these words, and I want you to just think about what you hear as I say these words. No. 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 Right, I want you to capture what that has done for you in this very second. Now I want to do something a little bit different. Now, if you're just tuning in, you didn't actually hear little spaces there where you're thinking, hang on, are we off the air? No, you actually were on the air. There was a reason for it. Now I want you to listen to this. Yes. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. What do those words, each of those words, do for you as you hear those words? Now, when I hear no, I think, right, I'm going to withdraw. I'm going to shut down. The gate's closed. There's no point, proceeding with this. My immediate reaction, and probably it's probably a case of being polite as well. I think the way that we are raised teaches us how we navigate those words as well. So I would say that hearing the word no, to me, is a case of, no, okay, there's no options. Let's just leave it closed. But when I hear the words yes, word, and I say word but words because it's, yes, 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 something in me kicks in. And so this is my point, guys. If you have people in your church, and this is to the ministers, the pastors, the religious leaders out there who may just happen to be listening this morning, this is my challenge for you guys. If you hear or you see people who need to hear the yes, echo it over and over and over, because sometimes they've heard the no for too long. Sometimes they've heard no, 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 no. And is that always, I think Satan can have a real hold on the no. When people are just so used to hearing no, that's not a possibility, can't do that, no, not going to happen. Where is the hope? I know it has to be balanced with this sense of logic. But my goodness, when we are in a space where we prayerfully kind of throw things at God and say, all right, I don't know how you can do this, but these people are coming up with these great ideas in my church. These people have come up with, my community, they've come up with an idea that looks like it could be something you're working amongst. How can we then, God, turn this from a no to a yes? And that yes opens the floodgates to allowing the Holy Spirit to do exactly what the Holy Spirit does. He moves, he stirs, he builds things again. He brings life to situations that we think are dead. My question to you is, are we dealing with a God who is dead? Because my assumption, my belief, my core values, my understanding from a knowledge perspective, and I'm assuming you guys are the same, is that we are dealing with a living, functioning, breathtaking God who sees the yes. Are we going to grab hold of that, or are we going to grab hold of the no's, where Satan is slamming the door shut? For me, I'm grabbing hold of that cloth that Jesus was wearing, and I'm saying, yes, God, I believe you can, I believe you will, I believe you are. Whatever you are trying to do through the people of this nation, of this particular region, let it be, God. Let's see this thing unfold. I'll leave it there. And welcome back, Coasties. I have got some news for you. Believe me, I do. Are you ready? The Legacy Challenge is coming. We know that our legacy builders are key to the future financial stability of Rhema Central Coast, and the Legacy Challenge is your opportunity to lift us to the next level. It's one day to build a foundation for the future. On Wednesday, 3rd of September, that's next Wednesday, or, that is next Wednesday. We're getting close to Father's Day. That's the only way I can remember. We're believing for 50 new legacy builders. As I said, that's Wednesday next week, I think. Let me just double check. Yeah, that sounds right. That's 50 new people committing to support Rhema Central Coast through a monthly gift. It doesn't matter if your gift is $10, $100, $1,000, or whatever amount God lays on your heart. We know God will honour the heart of the giver, and that's regardless of the size of the gift. And we know if 50 people step up to the challenge, that God will make sure that dollars add up to exactly what we need them to be. Now that's the Legacy Challenge. So we're going to ask, will you rise to it? Pray about it, prepare for it, and tune in on the day for some inspiring stories. I don't know about you guys, but I'm looking forward to that. That same day, as in Wednesday the 3rd, I will be on my way down to Sydney. My mum is actually having a building named after her. It's pretty amazing, actually. I'm just going to share that little bit of news. That was a lovely, delightful thing to for her to kind of message me about and say, or call and say, yeah, well, guess what's happening? So I am heading down to Sydney for that. That will be amazing. She's a pretty special lady, I have to admit. That's probably how I turn out as good as I am. But don't ask others, because they might not agree about the second part of my statement there, that I've turned out as good as I have. So maybe that will discredit everything she's done. So maybe I shouldn't say that. Anyway, guys, we are talking creative still. We're winding things up because I want to highlight over the next few weeks. Next week will be Father's Day, so we will be just kind of taking a bit of a pause on this stuff. But I want to highlight just how broad the church is and how knowledgeable and vast and, just how different we all are, and yet we are unified in this one amazing, I don't even know the words, with the church itself. We're so vast as individuals. We have so many different gifts, so many different abilities, so many different passions, so many different things that really get us going. And it's phenomenal, but the best way for us to encourage that is to get behind and support each other, to get to know the gifts that are underneath each of those we meet, instead of just being, oh, hi, how are you? What's your passion? What do you love to do? Those questions that really give you some insight into the people that you're working with or working amongst in your church or your Christian sort of ministries. I mean, it's different for all of us. But yeah, get behind it. Get to know your team. Your teammates are those who love Jesus too. We, here on the coast, obviously even just here at Rhema, that's a good example. Our whole focus is we love Jesus. And we don't always know what each other do. But we know that when we see things in each other, we need to uplift each other and say, hey, you've got that. God's really gifted you in that. Thank you for doing that. In fact, I wasn't going to mention it, but that is probably one of the reasons that I felt compelled to keep going when there's times where I'm like, my life is heavy, but it's been through other people who have said, God has gifted you in such and such a way. That's not for you, that's for other people. And those words stuck with me. There's been times, obviously, the last couple of years that it has been very. I've gone, I don't know what else I can do. I'm tired. There's a lot to do, but yet the affirmation and the encouragement of others to go, keep going with this because God has planted this seed in you. Yeah, you might be feeling the burden of it, but other people are reaping the rewards or the harvest from that. So keep going because your gifting is actually not for you. It's not for you. And I'm so glad that person, if they happen to be hearing this at the moment, I'm so glad that they pulled me into line and went, come on, Lindy, this is not about you. This is about what you can offer to other people. Guys, we have a responsibility to use whatever gifts God has given us. It doesn't mean it's going to necessarily be a creative one, but if you are a creative and you're kind of going, I don't know if I should give this a go or not, we have heard over the last few weeks, those who are in it, who are exploring their creative sense, that it just takes getting started. Put something out there, give it a go. See the evidence of what you can do because God has gifted you that way. Empowerment sometimes starts with a sense of just getting amongst it, just doing it. And I want to encourage you. You might be someone who is a lover of science. We're going to be exploring more and more of that sort of stuff as the year kind of pans out, but looking at different passions, might be looking at history and how, you might be someone who just loves to soak in history. How does that better help the church? How does that equip the church? You bet it does. Because those who are soaking up the history of culture, of societies, of the church itself, they've got the knowledge and the awareness that those of us floating around that just kind of, oh yeah, the grass is lovely and green today. They've got the insight and the wisdom to know how history has been, how history is likely to continue, where we stand up and we take notice. And we've got a lot to learn from all the different interests that are out there. And so that is my encouragement to you. Yes, we go to church each week, or we sit here, wherever we are, might be in the car or wherever, listening to a sermon or to speakers who are encouraging us in our walk. But when we get to know each other and just how different we are, my goodness, what a powerful unit we are. What a powerful and beautiful bride we become to our God. Now, for those of you who are probably thinking, I don't know what that means because I'm new to the faith, I don't know what it is. The church has been described it's been described as Jesus' bride. So the church is almost like Jesus loves us, the church, as much as he has and does and is loving us. Like a husband is supposed to love his wife. He will lay down his life for her. And that is what he has done for us. It's a little bit hard if you're new to Christianity just to kind of just keep it very simple in this time frame. But that's just to give you an idea of, I'm not trying to talk too much Christianese where you're going, I don't know what you're talking about. That's too hard. Basically that is just to summarize. The church, from the Bible standpoint, is described as the bride of Christ. We are meant to be kind of getting ourselves ready, getting ourselves right, getting ourselves cleaned up and strengthened for our groom, which happens to be Jesus. He is the reason that we function. He's the reason the church exists. And and how vastly different we all are. And what we can offer in that is just, it's phenomenal. It's beautiful. Let me encourage you guys, keep finding what it is that God has implanted in you. Those gifts that he has given you, give it a go. And while I'm at it, totally different point of direction. 8:30, we have Greg Laurie. Stick around for that. I'll be back after 9. I'll see you then. Yeah, welcome back, guys. That was Plum. And you were listening to Somebody Loves You, because somebody does love you. Lots of people do probably, but guess what? The big guy himself loves you more than you can ever imagine. God is the God of all, and yet he knows you. He loves you. How awesome is that? Now, I want to round things up a little bit here. Now, it's been a few different people I've spoken to from a few different angles, and I was actually going to do some more, but I just thought, no, let's wind things up. I kind of felt like God was going, nope, it's time to take this on a bit of a different direction. We've been talking creatives in the last few weeks, if you've been listening in. Big hidey-ho to those who are out there who, actually, I've got a friend who just said the other day, I listen every week. It's like we're having a coffee together while I'm driving to church. So if you are listening, I hope you're enjoying that coffee. I'm not drinking coffee though, because I don't drink it. But you, as I said, you guys, if you listen each Sunday, you'll know we've been talking to different creatives in the area. It's been really cool to just spend some time with them. And just to kind of gain their insight into, how the whole process of being a creative is. And the hurdles and all that sort of stuff. Now, the point, I think, in some of the creatives that we see is that we can use a different sort of means to be able to reach a different audience, to be able to challenge. If we're talking ministry and using creative sort of flair as a ministry tool, then we can see that there can be different, obviously different ways of doing it, but also kind of, you're using different modalities to reach different audiences. One thing that I have become aware of is just how important, even if I'm sitting here on a Sunday morning with you guys, how I verbalize things. Now, I can, and I've said this previously, a few times, I can have, be put in a position where I need to alter what I do based on the audience that I'm speaking to. One of the most amazing things I will say it actually was experience. I think when I first walked into doing stuff here at Rhema, I thought I needed to be very rehearsed. I needed to be very organised, and I think that's definitely part of it. But I would have everything because I was such a nervous, anxious person anyway. I would have everything written, word for word, how I was going to go with what I wanted to put out there. And perhaps it was just for my own accountability. I can't talk now. Accountability as well, to go, this is where I'm headed. I hope that's aligned with what Rhema is about. So it was a lot of that. One particular day I was recording and I just went, oh my goodness, I have messed that up big time. And I just walked out, and Pete, who happened to be working in the main sort of foyer area of our station here, he was sitting there, and I said, I was laughing, I said, I messed that up big time. And he just looked at me and he said, Lindy, we just want conversation. We just want people just to be themselves. And my goodness, that lifted so much in me, this pressure that I think I had put on myself. Now, as a kid, I explored all sorts of different vocal things. Just on my own, I'd just be silly. I'd be doing, at home, even if I think back as a kid, I would be doing different raps that I'd come up with, or I'd be sitting there talking in funny accents. I'd change accents throughout my conversation. I was stupid. I was just having fun. And I think there is still so much fun in exploring those things. But I think at the core of what we do, we have to remember who we are. And so I bring that to you guys this morning, to just remember that who you are, doesn't matter the audience that you're in, who you are, the core values that you hold, the ethics, the beliefs, they are who the world really wants to see more than anything. There is an authenticity that the world is craving, and I think as we are seeing generations change, it is really cool to see how much that is shifting to. It's a really special thing to sit back and watch and just see people are learning that it's okay to be themselves. Now to you, Pete, you will not even have remembered that conversation that I just mentioned. But you don't realise that the power of me just kind of going, oh my goodness, I messed that up. You were there and you were like, just be yourself, Lindy. And that was a real cool. I know I can do I can do the practiced lines, and I can speak in different ways, and I can speak in different tones, and I can speak in all. We know we can do that. We know it can be a creative flair. We know we can work on vocal stuff to alter what you guys hear and what is presented. But at the core of who we are is a foundation, is an organisation that loves Jesus. And we are dealing with people who just want others to hear how real this is. This love that God offers is. So by all means, I say get as creative as you possibly can. But if you're not a creative, you're not someone who just, comes with ease, don't be afraid to be yourself, because you have got so much to offer. I'm going to leave it there, guys. I'll be back soon. Let Faith Move You by Johnny Diaz. What a good way to start this morning. Well, it's not really the start for me, but it might be the start for you. So we will just start, if you are starting, with a lot of starts, with the concept of, along those lines. Moving with faith is a pretty cool way to process life, really. And how to do Sunday is a good way to do that. And if you are kind of going back to what we've been talking about this morning, it's a really good sort of baseline for being bold, being courageous, getting yourself out there, utilising and drawing on gifts that God has given you. If you're not familiar with me, guys, I am Lindy. I'm here each Sunday morning on Rhema Central Coast, and we have been talking creatives over the last few weeks. It has been a delight. I will say that. I've said it a few times this morning, but it really has been such a delight just to get some kind of insight into different streams of creativity, and to also see that it's very, very close to home. These giftings, they're amongst us. We've got people amongst us who are very creative. We want to encourage that. But more than that, we want to encourage everyone in their own natural gifts. Now, I had Eden here a couple of weeks ago, and she actually said something that really stood out to me. I thought it was, it was a probably simple way of just understanding what the church is made up with. She kind of was talking about those who are sort of administratively tasked, and they're very aware of what they can do that way. You've got your people, you've got your creatives, and somehow God still shines and wants to utilize every single one of those gifts. And it is true. It is absolutely true. We cannot function as a church without drawing on the gifts that we all have. I want to ask a question. When you get to your last day on earth, it's just say you've actually been given, by some chance, you've been given, I don't know, a particular date, and God says to you, right, this is it. This is where you're going to sign off. You're done. What are you going to say? Are you going to say, thank you, God, I sat in the park and just watched other people doing stuff all the time. It was great. Or are you going to say, I got amongst it and I used the gifts you gave me. I used the skills you gave me. I did what I could because your love for those people that I have had interactions with, that just means so much to me. I don't know about you guys, but that is that makes me think, that sort of concept, that understanding that this life is not about me. It's not about me at all. Sure, there are some beautiful aspects of it, and I am so thankful. I think life experience teaches you what matters, and I think wisdom is something that just is instilled over time. But I think living with this mentality of, did I really give life a go? Did I really draw in and utilize the stuff that God has given me? That's my question. I sit sometimes in churches and I watch people do things up the front, And I watch people sit behind they might be sitting down and they just sit. And that's okay. But my goodness, God has given you guys some seriously amazing gifts. And I just think if we can all offer whatever we have got, it is an offering. It is an offering to our God. We might find ourselves in a position where we actually see things not only becoming, revived, but thriving. The church to be seen in the community as a place that is bold, that is courageous, that is beautiful, is breathtaking. A place where they are safe. Those in the community can come to and know that they are safe. And in a world that doesn't offer a lot of safety, because it doesn't, the church being a safe place because they are, so solidly founded on faith, on the knowledge that God has equipped every one of us with purpose. It's encouraging. It's an exciting thought. Keep going, guys. This is my challenge for you. Keep going. Keep going, keep going, keep going. Find what you can offer. One of the songs I love, it's Brandon Lake's Gratitude, and part of that is because he kicks himself up the butt and says, I've got to get out there. This isn't a me issue. I need to give more. And we see those same sort of things through Psalm. It is the book of Psalms. There's a lot of different. It is a lot in terms of poetry. It's a lot of prayerful poetry, but a lot of it is, come on, God, stir me because I'm being lazy here. I'm not giving what I can. I urge you to read those Psalms if you can. Put on music like I just mentioned, where it is that sense of, I got a responsibility here. It's time to lift my game. I've got something to offer. Do not waste a day, guys. Don't waste a day. I know I'm guilty of that. I've wasted way too much time, probably moping about dumb things. That's what makes me human. That's what makes you guys human. Eyes on the prize. The prize is seeing the church flourish. The prize is seeing those in our community grabbing hold of a God who loves them. He loves them with intent. He loves them with purpose. He loves them with joy and peace and patience and kindness and goodness. And, just all the fruits of the Spirit. That's not all of them, but you know where I'm going. I'm just saying there is so much purpose in you giving what you can. I'm going to leave it there, give you a lot to think about. I hope you enjoy your day at church. If you're not ready to go to church today, I hope you're going to get some more out of what we have here on Rhema. We've got church on the radio at 10. Stick around for that. But be challenged. You have got purpose. You have got purpose, and you have got a God who has ordained your purpose. He loves you, and he loves you more than you will ever, ever know. I'll see you guys next week. Take it easy. I'm looking forward to Father's Day. See ya.